Made in Abyss has literally changed my life. I remember it was late at night when I watched the anime for the first time, and I just couldn't stop. I couldn't even go to bed. It had been so long since I came across such a story that could completely grasp my whole being and touch the deepest part of my soul. The next day I woke up and I thought the first movie was after season 1. You can probably imagine how confused I was. So I watched the third movie. The third movie. After that I was traumatized. I couldn't believe what I had just seen with my own eyes. And I basically finished the whole show within 24 hours. Over past few years, I've delved deep into this story, trying to understand it in the truest sense, piecing together different theories and fragments to form a more holistic interpretation. That's what I want to share with you in these videos. Since I have so much to talk about, I've decided to break it down episode by episode, exploring theories, subtle details you might have missed, and of course, overanalyzing everything. I'll also dig deeper into the underlying meaning of the story, things you probably won't find anywhere else. Also, there are gonna be tons of spoilers ahead. And honestly, I don't give a f if you get spoiled. This is a show you've gotta watch many times. So buckle up, because we are about to descend deep into the abyss. Oh, you thought we were gonna start from here, huh? Nope, the beginning of the story is actually different in the manga. It starts one day earlier. Since the author himself preferred the anime's beginning, we'll stick with that version. But there are still some hints in the manga we should cover. On the cover art of Volume 1, we see Reg and Riko dropping into the abyss. Riko looks quite happy about it, while Reg seems scared and confused. We'll talk more about this in the future videos. The question that came to my mind when I first saw this artwork was, are they descending into the abyss, or is the abyss luring them down? What we see here is that they are in a free-fall state, pulled by gravity toward the depths. This instantly reminded me of the track Gravity from Season 2 OST, which contains some hints about the true nature of this pull. In the song we hear that it is gravity that is luring us toward what we long for, and then it boldly declares, "I'm gravity." In another track from the Season 1 OST, Underground River, there is a line that goes, "Though I know who I am, who I could be is the mystery to solve." This is a question we are trying to find an answer for at the bottom of the netherworld. Because of this, I believe what's truly luring our characters down isn't just gravity, it's their future selves, and who they will become once they reach at the bottom of the abyss. It's not simply about discovering what's down there, but about discovering who you would become if you made it down there alive. That's definitely some food for thought. We'll be exploring the OSTs in more depth later too, so stay tuned. In the first chapter of the manga, there is an important hint I should mention. As I said, it takes place one day before the discovery of Reg in the first layer. In this panel, they are talking about the day before, when the star compass bounced away. We actually get a side story in volume 13 that shows what happened on that day. This is when Shigi met Caravagli and asked him about the star compass and how it works. We'll explore that side story when we get there, but for now it is important to piece the timeline together. Based on this, that side story happens 2 days before the anime's beginning. Now another important panel. It mentions the existence of Golden City deep within the abyss, along with a rough sketch of it. This doesn't look like Iroburu, and I believe this is the true Golden City, the place where Reg is originally from. We'll dive into this in much more detail when we get to Season 2. Alright, let's get into the anime, the first episode of Season 1. Depths of the first layer, abode of trees and fossils. As you can see in the rough map, we are about 150 meters deep into the abyss. Right away we are introduced to so many important aspects of the world. One of the first things I noticed on my first watch was that the character design isn't the usual anime style. And there aren't many Japanese cultural references either. This is a new world. To me, Made in Abyss is a mix of Eastern Miyazaki style world building and old Western Disney storytelling.
You know, it seems kinda quiet today.
Probably because there's no hammer beaks around.
Something weird happens here, probably hinting at something odd we don't really understand yet. Then we see the praying skeletons. It's fascinating that we get to see them in the very first episode, even though by the end of Season 2 we still don't have solid answers. Ozen mentions them vaguely in Volume 6, and Shigi and Nat talk about 3 burial sites stacked on top of each other from 2000, 4000 and 6000 years ago in Volume 6 as well. This ties into Surajo's arc, the 2000-year cycle, and the curse that reaps lives at the end of each cycle. We'll dive into that later. There's also a link to the birthday death disease, which we'll talk about soon. Then there is the Crimson Splitjaw appearing in the first layer. Another strange thing in this episode, they seem to eat relics, which might connect to Reg's ascent from the third layer. I don't love how the Splitjaw's animations feel so different from the main style. The frame rate on its movements is oddly low. Something fishy is going on here. This shot looks and sounds different from Reg's incinerator. There's a chance Reg wasn't the one who fired it. Maybe he was even the target. Compare how Reg's incinerator usually looks and sounds. This doesn't match. It could be just weak animation, like the Splitjaw, but maybe it's intentional. There is more evidence. Above Reg, a tree is burning, and there is a hole in the cliff. Why would the tree be burning if Reg was above it while firing? And how could he see through the cliff? From this angle, we can't be sure if Reg could see Riko, but official artbook sketches suggest he couldn't, which is strange, since Reg can't see through walls. And I think the author left this vague on purpose. Riko's interpretation that Reg saved her is what the story nudges us to believe. Okay, let's rewind a bit. On the way Riko finds the Blue Pendant, apparently called Kyrenia. We learn this from Reg's memory flashback in chapter 70, where the girl type tells him to look at her eyes along with Kyrenia. The symbol inside the pendant is one of the most important in Made in Abyss. It's not part of Orth's main culture, and cave raiders don't seem to recognize it. Its shape looks like two abysses connecting at the planet's center. Later, especially in Srajo's arc, this symbol appears more often, probably tied to the soul of the Abyss and the Priestess clan. Also, the pendant's shadow oddly resembles Liza's eye. It doesn't make sense that such a pendant with this shape could cast such a shadow. And the biggest mystery regarding this pendant, how in the world Riko has managed to not lose it. She's lost plenty along the way. Her notebook, a star compass, even her whole backpack at some point. Fortunately, I have the answer for you. It's actually tied to Riko's cute little panties. Look at this fluffy creature. If you want to see more info about it, check its design notes in the Dorbital reports. Belcher's design resembles White's whistles. We know she was once a delver, but retired after hurting her knees. Here's the illustrated book of creatures and artifacts of the Abyss. Its emblem, often called the crescent moon symbol, is another major icon of the series. We see it on Liza's whistle, the backpack that Reg carries, and many other instances. I personally asked Akido about it, and all he'd say is that it isn't actually a crescent moon. Its meaning is still a mystery. It's wild that all those posters behind Jiro can actually be translated. The creators put so much effort in tiny details. I'm too lazy to translate them, but if you do, send them to me. Even the classroom seats are clever. They are designed to train cave raiders to climb from the start. After class, there is a conversation missing in the anime. Riko recalls how traumatizing being strung up naked was, and apparently Nat secretly watched. And since it contains crucial information about Nat's preferences when it comes to picking a partner, we should include the fact that Nat is not actually interested in people like Riko with no hair down there. Hopefully he doesn't mind other things down there, since he's got a crush on Maruluk now. It's odd that Reg was semi-awake before being shocked. Apparently, he used the electricity to charge his incinerator. In Volume 5, Nanaji theorizes that Reg's power indicator shows his remaining shots, and the energy he uses to move likely comes from food, like humans. Riko talks about recharging Reg in this scene. It wasn't just the orphanage that lost power, but actually most of Orth went dark as well. Riko's room also hints at Orth's darker motives. People here aren't just chasing the Abyss's mysteries. As the intro says, many are driven by greed, selling relics for profit. The Abyss's bottom might have been found long time ago, but they keep it secret to brand it as the last undiscovered chasm and sell goods and relics. We'll expand on this theory later.
There's something that I'd like to show you, Reg.
Who's Reg?
That's your new name.
As we know, Riko named Reg after her dog, but Season 2 Iroboros arc shows that Reg was already Reg before Riko named him. Super weird, but definitely intentional. A similar thing happens at the end of Volume 12, in Ozen's side story. Twins in Orth always share the same name of the past twins, even without any connection to them. I believe this is the abyssal soul influencing people. They think they are choosing, but something nudges them towards certain outcomes. It's like the unconscious mind, or Jung's collective unconscious. Shared biases shaping choices. This ties back to the manga's cover art. Are they descending because they chose to, or is the abyss lowering them down for its own purposes? I leave you with that thought. This was my overanalysis of episode 1, The Town of the Large Hole. Please subscribe and ring the bell to catch the next episode and its mysteries.